Hello guys, welcome to a new video of the Fischer series. Today we're looking at Bobby's first ever US Chess Championship of 1957-1958. He already played in the US Open twice. In his first attempt he got fourth, and in his second attempt he was on a tiebreak for first place. And this actually made him, also with the game of the century, how he played in the third Rosenthal Trophy, made him qualify for this very prestigious tournament. It was a tournament of 14 of the best US players during that year, and the winner of this tournament would go on to play for the interzonal, in which you represent your country, and if you win that tournament with one of the best international players, you can qualify for the candidates. So there was a lot on the line, and Fischer was expected to finish somewhere in the middle of the pack. Not win, but he shocked everyone by finishing first, unbeaten. So let's look at this game. It's round number 2. His first round he won against another player, and he's on 1 out of 1. And he plays against Herbert, who has half a point from his first round. So let's see how the game goes. E4, C5. So Fischer really loved the Sicilian, and Herbert plays the open Sicilian, in which Fischer really likes the Najdorf. So a d6, d4, c takes, knight to f6, knight to c3, simply defending. This is all theory. And here he plays the Najdorf. Here you can also go for the dragon, or for some Sicilian French variation, or for the more classical variation. But Fischer really liked this idea of defending the b5 square, not letting the pieces come there, and playing b5 perhaps later yourself. So here Herbert can do a lot of things: bishop to e2, bishop to e3, bishop to c4, the Fischer-Sozin attack, or bishop to g5. And this is a line, it's been analyzed so much. There's a lot of sub-variations in this variation. Most often it's played e6. After e6 you want to play bishop e7, knight b to d7, b5, bishop to b7, and queen to c7. And the purpose of the knight here and the queen here is to defend the e5 square, because white wants to play f4, queen to f3, bring the bishop out, castle long, and attack you from the king side, and we want to attack from the queen side with the rook on the open file. So after e6 comes f4, and now comes the bishop to e7, queen to f3, queen to c7, basically what I just said. So this normal setup, long castles, and here black can play either castles, knight b to d7, or h6. And Fischer plays h6, bishop to h4, and here Fischer actually plays a move which is more out of theory. He plays knight to c6, which is possible here, but you usually want the knight on d7, because you don't want to let this knight take your knight, because our knight is a really nice defender of this square, and from d7 it can go to b6 after we've pushed b5. But okay, he plays knight to c6, and Herbert takes immediately. Now we can take either with the queen or the pawn. If we take with the queen, we have this nice pressure, so you cannot push e5, because then I will double your pawns. But if I take with the pawn, I can play d5 myself, and after you take, I'll have a really nice central control. So both moves are fine. Fischer decides to play queen takes c6. Now comes bishop to d3. And bishop to d3 is a nice move, but better would have been bishop to e2. Well, why is this better? Well, if you castle as black, now you actually can play e5, because when you take my queen, I will take back with the bishop and have this really nice pressure. Then you will play d takes, f takes, knight to d5, bishop takes, knight takes, and you can see this pressure is really annoying. We cannot come out easily, so we have to play rook to b8 first, or knight to d5, but then you will simply take, and I will have a isolated queen's pawn. So that's a little subtle difference between bishop to e2 and bishop to d3. But Herbert plays bishop to e3. Now comes bishop to d7. Queen to e2. simply saying, okay, if I push later on or bring the rook behind me, I can perhaps play this amazing move and open up like this and checkmate you. And here Fischer plays rook to c8. Simply saying, okay, I want to have a lot of pressure over the c file. So Herbert plays king to b1. Now comes b5. He's ready to attack on the queen side. And here Herbert would have had this amazing move rook to e1. Because after b4, we can actually play knight to d5. And now if I take, you take, and you can see how annoying this would get. So we have to take the pawn. Now bishop takes, and if I take back, it's mate in 1, so I cannot take back. Now Fischer would play knight takes f4, attacking the queen, so there's no discovered attack because then I will simply take the queen. So after queen to d2, Fischer would play knight to e6, but then we would have this amazing move bishop to e4. And with bishop to e4, there's a triple threat on this d6 square, and we're also attacking the queen. So this more than compensates for the loss of the knight earlier on. This would have been a very nice variation, but Herbert actually played rook to f1 here. And this little difference actually says that black is in a better position. Because now after b4, first Herbert takes the knight. You cannot take back with the bishop because then we have this amazing idea of simply a discovered check in which your queen will fall. So, okay, we have to take with the g-pawn, and you shattered my king side. But now knight to d5 anyway. It's also a really nice move, but not as good as the other variation in which the rook would have been on e1. Now comes e takes, and there's no mate in 1 like the other variation, so we have to bring the queen back to c7 or b6. Fischer plays queen to c7. The pawn is hanging, attacked twice. Bishop takes a6. Rook to b8, simply moving away. And now comes rook f to e1. So you can see we moved this rook twice for the same purpose. It could have went there in one go. Now comes bishop to c8. Simply wanting to get rid of this bishop and also defending my bishop myself. Bishop takes, rook takes, and you can see this position looks really drawish. Fischer is a pawn up, but his king side is really shattered. And yeah, it's really drawish, this position. So now comes a rook to d4. And Fischer sees that, okay, you will triple those pieces to attack my bishop, so I should really bring away my king. And here, queen to g4 is not really a good idea, because I will just simply move away and you will help me with my rook coming to g8. So now comes rook to e4, a triple attack. Now Fischer plays this really nice move, rook to e8. We're defending it twice, you're attacking it 3 times. But you cannot really take, because after takes, then it will be mate soon. This is simply mate. So you cannot really take. And after rook f to e1 comes f5, a nice move, blocking the bishop's path to escape at all. So there's no f5 for black. Now comes king to h7, wanting to perhaps bring the rook to g8 later. c3, b takes c3, rook takes e7, queen to b6, a really nice move, threatening this. Now comes rook takes f7, check, king to g8, queen to g4, and after king takes f7, this is basically a draw. Why? Well, black is threatening mate in 1, and white has to keep giving checks, otherwise he will lose. So he'll probably play something like this. You have to move, then, you have to come here, because otherwise we have this double attack. So we have to, then white will take this pawn. It will just be checks all the time, and there's no way to escape for black. So this was the second round. Herbert played really well and he could have had a really nice advantage, but it was hard to see and Fischer defended well. And in the next video, we'll see how Fischer continues this journey. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video. Bye bye.